All right, away we go. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky, Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Or go to the app, have it delivered, and they'll come pretty much, they'll get it to you pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Some outlier exceptions included, but make sure you're supporting our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. All right, Aaron, let's get to rocking and rolling. Tuesdays, we talk about the Luke Fickell weekly press conference.
We do.
Some of the players that are up on the stage. I, fortunately and unfortunately, wasn't able to make it today. I was told initially Kelly would be getting to come home sometime early, like mid-afternoon.
She busted out the clink.
She was like, no, just go. Like, it was like at 10 o'clock. She's like, no, I'm done. I'm just waiting on my discharge papers. But you go ahead and go to the press conference and come get me when you're over. I'm not leaving you there for 3 hours, lady.
Am I on crazy pills?
No, it's fine. I'm just hanging out. Like, you've been there for 5 days. I'm not leaving you there for 1 minute longer than you have to be there. Jeez Louise.
Plus, they charge rent by the hour.
Yeah. And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, the people need you to be like, no, we're going to be okay if I don't go to the Tulsa week press conference.
I think we'll all be okay.
So I watched some of it, the live stream for a decent amount of it. I didn't get to see the Will Huber part. I did see Luke and Tyler Scott. You got to watch everything. What were your thoughts on the press conference today?
Luke seemed more dialed back than I expected him to be. I expected him to be a little bit more intense today. Seemed loose. I just thought that Sunday would have been intense. It sounded like it was, by all accounts, by what Coach, what Tyler, what Will all said. But it sounds like they're dialed in.
So I think Tulsa, after the past 2 years, definitely has their attention.
For sure. I think Luke took a lot out of the game against Indiana, both for the team as he normally does, but also personally. And he sounded quite the opposite of another coach in conference, just putting some stuff on himself and taking responsibility for some mistakes
Not
that were made.
Responsibility. I get. These guys aren't listening. I don't know.
But Luke was certainly the opposite of that, owning, the snap that was on the fourth down. And
some of the offense, like the decisions in the second half on how to conduct the offense. And I think, we've discussed this a ton over the past couple of days, but I think that's part of also, like, I think we inherently, and this is different in college than it is in the NFL, because teams are so much different in college from year to year. Sometimes you have to learn about your team in games as the season develops. And I think that is something that he's okay to I'm in that process.
When there's 75 defensive pass plays called and they throw for 66 of them, you certainly learn some things about your team at that point. I mean, plenty to learn. But good to hear just that they did all three sound pretty dialed in after they did celebrate. And it was right in line, actually, with what Ryan said last night. Where, they take 24 hours really to celebrate the win. And then it's on Sunday, back to work, grind, hit it hard. And, no one really batted an eye when all three of them alluded to that. And Ryan said the same thing. So I don't think that's lip service.
No, I think that's legitimately who Luke is. And I think that's one of those things he learned last year. It's hard.
Well, I wasn't trying to go there. I just, but that was something that Luke even said though, that winning's hard. It's not something that should be taken for granted. Or
it's not as hard as going to Lubbock, but it's hard.
In any case, Tyler sounded humble. I thought it was wildly entertaining listening to him talk about how
bad he was.
That absolutely, where he was like, "Yeah, I had 5 drops," and
no, he didn't. He had 5 targets that he didn't catch. He did not have 5 drops.
Well, that's what he said. He said he had 5 drops, and he's like,
that's because he believes
it haunted him.
Every ball thrown his way, he believes should be a catch.
I can only imagine how terrible it was to lay in bed with that neck pillow in your bathrobe with the scented candles, thinking about those 5 dropped balls.
He is a perfectionist.
Sure, and it shows.
Yeah.
So,
and I know, like, knowing how he is and getting to know him, everybody else, and what it is, basically, he had 15 targets and 10 catches.
I know.
Ben
I saw the
in-game
stats, yeah.
By 30 feet.
And he would have called it a drop ball.
Tyler would have thought, yeah, I had a drop ball. Like, I was targeted. I should make that play. We've hammered this, but star turn.
He's unique.
Star turn. Yeah.
In every way that you could possibly want a receiver to coach. That's who he is. Man.
But he's the exact opposite of a wide receiver, like personality-wise, right?
He's certainly not a prima donna or
like diva, like
none of that. He's the essentially Sauce on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Kind of, yeah. He talks less trash.
Maybe.
Sauce talked a lot of trash.
On the field, not off the field.
Tyler's pretty quiet on the field.
Okay.
Like, even after he scores a touchdown, it's pretty subdued. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, Sauce would get a little chippy with people after the play too, where he's going back and Tyler's not really doing
Sauce let you know that he was dominating you. Tyler is more like, let's go run it back. We'll line up again and I'll beat you again.
So like a Tyler Boyd, because you don't ever see him getting mixed up in any of that. He just goes out and does the work, and
yeah. I can see some Tyler Boyd. I think, like, in the NFL, he's probably going to have to be a slot guy.
Sure. Yeah.
I could definitely see some Tyler Boyd in him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I thought when Tyler Boyd made that catch and broke between the 2 defenders that crashed in on him at the same time and took off for the touchdown. I was thinking to myself, that's some
Tyler Scott shit.
I could totally see Tyler Scott doing something like that.
And it's a little different with Ivan as a transfer. With Tyler, we've seen this
maturation,
special teams, and like becoming like, it's so much fun to watch a guy start to become a star.
Well, so you say that, and Will Huber was actually asked about Ivan coming out of his shell and the turn that he's had, and he's like, back in the spring and even early on in the season, he was quiet, and now he's become an energy guy in the locker room that you can't get to shut up. Yeah. And I thought that was fascinating, because if you go back to Squat Fest, I don't think he said a word.
No,
not a thing. Even when called upon to go lift your 650 or whatever he squatted, he didn't say a word before.
Well, like Brady talked to him and teammates talked to him.
Yeah,
but I don't remember him speaking back.
I think he was just so focused in, because we even talked about it after Squat Fest on the show that we did with Brent. Like, he was so locked in, he didn't say anything when being like hyped up. Did the work, came off the machine, just kind of cooled off, and we're like, who is this robot?
Yeah. Well, now we know. He's been sent here to destroy you.
100%.
Speaking of Ivan, Besnarek Award, Defensive Player of the Week, came out today, and you tweeted it. This is what we talked about last night. Like, we don't think about it because he wasn't a third-team All-American at UC last year.
Yes.
But that's a third-team All-American. That's a guy that has national recognition and is starting to stack accolades. And, number 1 in tackles for loss in the country, number 6 in tackles, number 2 in sacks, like quarterback hurries. Like, he is starting to gain some momentum as this kid has gone to Cincinnati and gone from great to amazing.
Well, and let's not discredit the fact that some of the voters are going to already be familiar with his name from last year.
That's the point I've been making.
And that's only going to elevate him that much more when they're going to vote. Like, oh, I remember this kid. He's doing it 2 years in a row.
I voted him third team All-American,
Right.
Second team All-American last year.
And now he's doing it at Cincinnati as well. Who did they play?
Doing more at Cincinnati.
Who did they? Oh, okay. Yeah. And I think it's funny that the dude from Georgia, is it Georgia or Alabama? That people are putting in the Heisman talk already. And Pace has better numbers than.
Yep. I don't know what else there is left to say about Ivan at this point. Like, just been incredible.
Will Anderson.
No, come on.
Ivan has better numbers.
Aaron.
I'm just saying.
Will Anderson's a defensive lineman.
Yeah, well, Ivan has better numbers.
Will Anderson's probably the most dominant player in America. So let's calm down.
Not on paper.
Let's calm down. Anyhow, speaking of Bearcat defenders, there's a video going around of Dante Corleone taking the Indiana center and walking him 4 steps backward and then helping him do a back bend as if he was a 6-year-old girl in tumbling class. So it's incredible. Like, I saw it live, like, as it happened from behind the play, and it was one of those. Did he just? Oh, that poor man. So when an offensive player does that to a defensive player, it is called a pancake.
Mm-hmm.
When a defensive player does that to an offensive player, what do you call it?
A flapjack.
Somebody put flapjack.
That's what I would call it.
And
I haven't seen this. I've seen the clip, but I didn't see any of the responses to what should we call it?
So Matt Minich, he goes by Coach Minich on Twitter.
Yeah.
Said, well, a defensive lineman driving an offensive lineman back is a bull rush. So I guess that makes this cow tipping.
That's really good. That's really good.
I told you before, and that's that.
But people are going to say that it's fat shaming or something along that line, and I don't think that that's going to gain speed because everyone gets in their feelings about everything these days.
Yeah. I'm just saying, cow tipping is pretty damn funny. It's pretty damn funny.
It's pretty good.
Kudos to Tim Adams. I think Tim Adams was the one that first put the clip out there. So kudos to Tim, my former partner on that one. I don't have a whole lot else. Do you?
I have a show in 20 minutes.
I didn't ask if you had another show. I asked if you had anything else for this show. We're doing this show right now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have anything else?
No, I mean, we came with the topics that we had, and we're out of those topics.
All right. Well, then let's call it a Tuesday night, and kudos to Kelly coming home. It's
hooray!
I'm bad at the single dad thing, so it's good to have her back. We'll see you tomorrow night, BCJ podcast, nightcap. And guess what, Aaron?
Yeah,
Come back. Tomorrow, Wes Miller press conference and practice at 4:00. So tomorrow night, Chad will have a full basketball practice in his cap.
I love when we have topics already ready before we even have to find anything.
Well, we'll have the Tulsa preview with Dave. And then I think Bergie Bird might be joining me tomorrow at basketball practice. So
Ooh, does that mean a night off?
I don't
We'll see.
What do you mean a night off? Oh, a nightcap night off?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a podcast night already. You can't get that lucky. We'll see you tomorrow. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!